How much life insurance coverage do I need? Today, I want us to do a little exercise. So this is where you pause this video, run, get a notebook and a pen. So welcome to today's episode. My name is Mama Bima Kenya, a licensed insurance agent in the 254 and a passionate insurance educator. And today we will be looking at just how much life insurance coverage is enough. Like, what is that sum assured? Nikijua nimefika hapo, I start feeling confident that, you know what, I've got my family covered. Karibuni sana to this episode. In life insurance, there's something we call the 10 times rule of thumb, okay? And that is actually what I ascribe to when it comes to helping my clients ensure they're able to do ample income replacement and income protection. And this is how the 10 times rule of thumb works, okay? So ask yourself this question, okay? And this is a rhetoric question. I want you to think about it. If, for example, you are married, God forbid, if life was to throw a curveball and you pass away prematurely, if you're no longer there, okay? So remember, you're an income earner, you are a breadwinner. What is that amount that you would want your spouse, okay, or the person maybe who would now be the guardian of your children, to continue to receive every single month as a salary, and you are confident that if they were to receive that check month on month, they'll be able to continue affording the same lifestyle that you currently enjoy while all is well? How much is that amount? I want you to give me a figure. How much is that amount that you would want to continue coming into your household month on month, even in your absence? Let's work with hypothetical number. Let's say in my case, I would want to replace an income of say 250,000 shillings, okay? So that if I'm not there, I know the insurance guy, Baba Bima, I still continues to receive 250K every month, because then I know then he would be able, to place food on the table in our household, keep our little girl, in school. And because we are a two-income household, when my check still continues coming, then he's not as burdened by the month-on-month expenses he would be incurring. So we've talked of 250,000. I want in your notebook, I want you to write whatever figure you arrived at, the amount you would want to continue coming into your home. Okay, so now when you get this amount, then now I want you to ask yourself, how much is this annually? Okay, so I want you to multiply this by 12. So in my case, 250K, if I'm looking at it as an annual amount, this now comes to 3 million shillings. Okay, so with 3 million shillings, this is the annual amount that I'd want, my spouse receiving, every year, because then I know with this, he'll be able to keep our daughter in school. They'll be able to afford, a holiday, a vacay, maybe once a year or so. But even in my absence, they don't have to be financially hit, right? So now, with this 3 million shillings, I want you to multiply that amount by 10. This is where the 10 times rule of thumb comes in. So whatever amount you had gotten as the annual amount you'd want to replace in your household, multiply that by 10. So in my case, this tells me I need to buy a life insurance policy with a sum assured of 30 million shillings. So in the unfortunate event of my death, 30 million shillings would be paid out. That payout would be made, say, in the trust fund that my hubby and I have. And this is a lump sum amount where if he invested it properly, okay? And this is how, now I want to show you why 30M, okay? This is how the 30M would now replace. You remember the 250K we were talking about, the one I'd want to lock into my household? This is how the 30M would replace that 250K in my household. So again, back to our notebooks. So you take the 30M. So if this payout is made out to the insurance guy, all he would need to do is look for an investment giving net return of 10% annually. Okay, so take your 30M and multiply that by 10% return, 10% net return. Okay, and of course, there are many investment instruments that can actually give that kind of return, or savings tools, such as a money market fund, even bonds, just depending on what really works for that situation. So what is 10% of 30 million? Please remember that 30 million is already locked away. So the principal is invested, capital is preserved, but every year, if this 30 million is accruing an interest at 10%, it means there's a 3 million shillings interest that's accruing on this investment. Okay, so the 3 million, that is the annual interest. If you divide the 3 million over the 12 months of the year, what do we get? What do we get? 3 million divided by 12. We go back to the 250,000 shillings that I was looking to replace in my household. And guys, it's as simple as that. You just sit down and ask yourself, how much income would I want to lock in for my family in my absence? How much would I want them to receive every month? Then get the annual amount by multiplying that monthly amount by 12, then multiply it by 10, and you are sure that the death payout from a life insurance policy with that sum assured will be able to replace that monthly income in your household. When you are talking about life insurance, it's not just a conversation around just the death payouts. Okay, so we have just seen this is how you would be able to replace income in your household, but please go even further and ensure that the solution that you would then purchase, also has a critical illness cover and a disability kind of coverage, an accident coverage. So you can add this as a rider to now the 30 million, like in my case. And some of the considerations, when I ask myself just how much critical illness coverage is enough. In Kenya, you'll be given maybe up to a maximum of 15 million shillings that you can purchase as critical illness coverage. And at this point, some of the considerations I'll be having other than the cost, okay, because also critical illness coverage is not the cheapest of covers. So other than the cost implications, one of the things I'll be asking myself, I'll look at what kind of coverage do I have, say, in terms of medical insurance. As we know, critical illness and medical insurance coverage, they complement each other, So one does not per se substitute the other. You actually need both of them. But now in my case, I look at what kind of coverage do I have with my medical policy. There's someone who'll be like, Charlene, I have like an international cover. So I'm covered to the tune of hundreds of millions in the event of a critical illness. Like, I'm good. But they can now just decide, maybe let me just add like a 5 million cover to my policy. Now, on the other hand, I am not one to take risks, especially in the face of, I think if you just look around, especially WhatsApp Harambes, either for people who are fundraising for medical bills, people who are fundraising for loved ones who needed to go overseas to seek treatment. So I'm not one, I do not play with these things. And I'm one who embraces insurance in a big way. Like in my case, I would probably be going for a critical illness. Maybe if I'm going, say, for a 30 million cover, I would probably go for a critical illness at the very least of like 7M. But I would also be looking at what are my options if I take a 10 million cover, if I take a 12 million cover, or if I max it out to 15M, I would just be keen on seeing what would that cost me. Lastly, same thing, you also want to also ask yourself, like how much accident coverage do I need? Because the beauty with the accident coverage in a life policy is that this is like a PA cover. You get, this is the cover that covers you in the event of permanent total disability, but it's also two-pronged, okay? So it would make a payout, God forbid, if you were to get into an accident and you pass away from the accident, then the accident rider pays in addition to the sum assured. So both of them lumped together, they pay out to your loved ones. But also, if you get into an accident and you become permanently totally disabled, this benefit pays out as a standalone payout, and the rest of the cover still continues running. If I know, for example, maybe I have the option of buying anything between $1 million to 20 million, accident coverage is always very fairly priced. I would be looking to either max it out or match the level of critical illness coverage that I'm buying. So it would be anything between 7M, 10M, 12, 15, or even 20M, you know, also just with the consideration of also the budget. So if this is honestly a conversation that also has left you saying, Charlene, you know, Mama Bima, I would want to see what the figures are like, please, here at Mama Bima, I'm always open to giving you free life insurance quotes. And I like to say, when you ask for a quote from me, okay, always look at it as it's a no obligation thing for me. It's not one of those experiences you'll go through where you ask for a quote, sasa lazima ununue. No. My goal is see the quote. One, I know because I'm very good in shopping for my clients when it comes to insurance, you will be blown away. One, by just how affordable, you know, or well-priced, high-value life insurance policies are. But also it's an experience I want you to go through so that you really get well-equipped. You get to see all the options that are available to you. Probably I'll introduce you to products that you haven't heard of before in the market, and also just sort of like furnish you with so much information, the terms and conditions. We have a callback just to do like a thorough Q&A together. Then you can even start planning, you know, on getting this kind of coverage. Always remember, even if it is not a yes right now, like let me jump onto this, you know, there are clients who actually see this and they feel this is the missing link within like my financial portfolio. Others also get to see this and they're like, okay, now let me plan out my finances so that 6 months down the line, a year down the line, I can also pick this up. You are very welcome hapa kwa Mama Bima. Please reach out. You can see my contacts are here below, mamabima@places.co.ke, or you can also reach out on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp remains as +254 739 040 400. Always open. Please reach out. My team and I will reach out with free life insurance quotes for your consideration. So let us help you get onto this side of protection and being protected very well. So today my tea is screaming, and I really love the message on this tea. It says life insurance ni kusema hata kama siko niko. Oof, let me tell you, this was deep. By the time I got this message, like, this was deep. I need us to take that again. Life insurance ni kusema hata kama siko niko. You saw that concept of, you know, you're gone, but your 250K is still in your household. So yes, your family could be really down, you know, because they miss your physical presence, but literally when it comes to the financial part of things, they don't feel the absence. Yani hata kama hauko, bado upo. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Mama Bima Kenya, a licensed insurance agent and insurance educator in the 254. As we always sign out, hapa. Until next time, stay insured.